Hello and welcome to week two's mini lecture. I hope you had a good first week introducing yourselves to your fellow classmates. I took a look at the post as well, and it was good to get to know you guys. As a reminder of some upcoming events and assignments, remember please that the live session is scheduled for March 6th in the evening. Please look at the announcements for both the time and the link. As a reminder as well that there will be an alternate assignment for those who cannot make it to the live session on Carmen Connect. But I do encourage you to dial into the session rather than the assignment, but that is available to you in case that is needed. And that the assignment will be available Wednesday or Thursday, the day after our session. Group assignments start week 3 and they continue through week 4. The groups should be set right now in the People's link on Carmen. So you can take a look at that to see who you're assigned to. It was just a random assignment there. There was no reason for how I chose that. And then finally, remember as well, spring break, it happens after this week. I'll try to follow the actual university calendar. There will be a couple assignments due before that starts on Monday, the 11th, or Monday the 12th. And then there might be some assignments on that following weekend after break. And then we'll start back on week 3, starting that following Wednesday that everybody else returns. So as a reminder from last week, what we discussed about during the first week, we met Sarah, who is a non-traditional student taking online courses for the first time. And she expressed just her reticence with taking online classes and because it's her first experience. And she hadn't really done that much before in the past, and she discussed a lot about her reticence. So we're going to continue that throughout the 7 weeks here during the course, and she's going to introduce other things about her learning opportunities and experiences, and we'll be able to analyze that and give her some suggestions. If you have not posted your introduction, please do that. You should have by now, but if you have not, please do that. And I do also encourage you as well to refer back to that. And it's good to kind of read through those to kind of see what your fellow peers have said about themselves and also how they respond back to you. It's good research to look back as you continue throughout this course. The entry survey, you should have seen that link as well for you to take. It's an optional survey to take. It just gives some general information on just information about your reasons for enrolling into this course and the experiences you've had in the past. That'll be followed up with the exit survey at the end of the course that you can take as well if you wish to. And then lastly, one of the main things that was discussed this past week on the readings was online versus face-to-face, specifically how to succeed in online courses. They discussed about time management, being able to manage your time effectively, and also controlling your study environments as an important part of that. And I think as well, staying connected is a good thing as well. Asking questions and staying connected to your peers and instructor in the class are important things to keep in mind as you kind of work through this class and any future classes you go through. They also discussed some myths as well, myths of online learning as well, and some thoughts kind of related to that. Recall, online learning is not necessarily easier than face-to-face classes. You certainly need a lot more motivation, I believe, in self-regulation. See this week's readings on more topics related to that. But it's not necessarily easier than face-to-face classes. And it may just take just as much time or potentially more time. And it's, I believe, a lot more important to stay on task and to schedule generally your time so that you're a lot more effective on your online courses, because you don't have that teacher and the instructor there that's pushing you on a weekly or every other day basis in a traditional class that you might have at college. And online programs, they can be respected by others. Certainly, as it's becoming more ubiquitous, it's clear that it's being respected. Certainly, depending on where you go for those things. So, very briefly, going to touch on a few things related to the couple topics this week on motivation and self-regulated learning. So what is motivation? And generally speaking, motivation is that ability to persist in something no matter what. And that comes from a lot of different areas. The video that you're going to listen to, if you have not already, discusses more details about this. but part of that is the ability to set goals. Whether that's goals based upon mastering something, goals may be based upon how important something is to you, and your motivation towards something might be based upon intrinsic or extrinsic interest. So whether it's personally fun to you or interesting to you, or whether you're just doing it for some background reward right there. And you also might do something. You might be motivated to do something because it's interest to you or utility value, or it's useful for you. Say in the future for a job or something like that. And how we respond um, is important when we lack motivation. And certainly after failures or something like that, we're able to attribute our success and failures to certain things. Is it based upon because you think you just didn't try hard enough, or is there some other reason as to why you might have failed during something? And it's important to attribute that success or failures and to understand how to learn and to proceed into the future. The other topic that was discussed just a little bit was self-regulation, which generally speaking is the ability to monitor your behavior, your cognition, and motivation before, during, and after learning. A few components of self-regulation is that if you're self-regulated learning, you're able to control different aspects of yourself, whether that's your behavior, whether that's your cognition, whether that's your environment, your motivation. And with self-regulation as well, there's some goal to accomplish, so you're able to base some of your learning experiences on some standard, and you have something to shoot for as you work on your learning experiences. And then also another part of self-regulation, that's why it's called self-regulation, is that the individual is primarily responsible ultimately for the success or failure or something like that, separate from the teacher. So are you able to, after a course is done or once a class session is done, are you able to process that information in order to be able to read on your own, to have the fortitude, to have the motivation and the discipline and control to actually schedule your own learning? And that's important as you enter into college, if you're early on, or even as you're going to college right now or into the future. It's important that you understand that self-regulation is more about how you control your different behavior and motivations towards things. Self-regulation, is a way of approaching academic tasks that students learn through experience and self-reflection. So, part of this is that, self-regulation, it's built throughout time. Those who have a greater awareness and are aware and can improve their motivational beliefs, whether that is their goal orientations as to, why you learn or why you don't learn, and also the self-efficacy. So do you have a belief that you can accomplish something like that? If you practice the skills as well, practice strategies, study behaviors, and whatnot, that's ways to improve self-regulation, and also the ability to manage your environments. So do you know whether you need a quiet environment or a loud environment to do certain things? For instance, I know when I'm reading something like that, I need a quiet environment. But if I'm doing something that's outside of reading that might be related to class, I could have more distractions around me like that. But being the ability to understand that is important right there. There is the belief that self-regulation can be learned and it's adaptive. That is, we're not necessarily born with good or poor self-regulated learning, but that we can learn those things. And then last thing that's kind of touched upon a little bit this week is SMART goals. So these goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. It's important, which is going to be introduced in the other video lecture, the importance of, short-term goals. You don't want to have a long-term goal well into the future, then that might be kind of hard to accomplish. Well, that's okay to have that, but you also need to have the short-term goals as well. So we'll discuss a little bit on that, and there's some questions related to that, I know, on the quiz as well. So keep that in mind as well. But this week is more about understanding how you stay motivated, how you persist, and how you're able to, use different strategies to be able to improve your learning processes as you move forward, to stay self-disciplined and have self-control as you move forward. So as a brief overview for the week coming ahead, So the first thing you'll take an overview where you look at the goals for the week, and you'll have this mini lecture that you're listening to right now. The self-assessment survey will be a survey that you can go through that's going to kind of look at your personal values, attitudes, confidence, and motivation. And you will use the results of that self-assessment survey to kind of analyze that. You'll be able to reflect upon that, how you are motivated, what your values and attitudes are about online learning and learning in general. We'll continue with our case study. There will be a new video that Sarah discusses a different topic related to motivation this week. And there will be a post related to that where you'll be able to give her suggestions. You'll also be looking in different coping strategies you'll use as you learn. And you'll post, some thoughts on that and things you find on the internet related to how you can, cope through different things. Then will be the quiz over the readings. The reflection paper will be due at the end of the week as a reminder that 4 out of the 6 reflection papers during these 7 weeks are required. Or if you do all of them, the 4 best scores will be taken. And then finally, remember the live session on Karma Connect coming at the end of this week. So I hope that you have a good week, and we're good from there. So and then another thing, discussion board. So how to effectively respond. If you think about that, I had one more thought. I kind of lost track. So how to effectively respond. Different ways you can respond to a discussion board post as we go into other content other than just introductions. You can acknowledge peers' posts and ask for clarification. So if you're not certain about something like that, you can ask a question to have your peer reflect upon that and be able to kind of elaborate more effectively on that. You can raise questions to provoke further thoughts, something that you've thought about related to the readings or related to the case study, and that might provoke some different type of thoughts within your peers. You can certainly appreciate the thoughts of your peers by saying, I think that's a good idea, and here's also what I think that kind of corroborates that. And it's healthy to have arguments and to have healthy argumentation, because it's a critical analysis of that post, and it's a way for both parties that are writing in that and speaking the conversation to improve upon themselves. So keep that in mind as you move forward on discussion board posts now and into the future as well. And with that, thank you and good luck. And I just realized as well that I kept on talking about the Karma Connect session. That has already happened, but do remember that the alternate assignment is due coming up soon. So any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call or email. Thanks. Bye.